So now we've looked at the cold hard environment we face, the linear budget constraint that we're subject to, and we are starting to get into this idea of what I'm calling indifference curves. It's not my term. I'm just so far that's all I've mentioned to you is they're called indifference curves. By discussing diminishing marginal utility. And so now I'm going to take that idea of diminishing marginal utility and apply it to this thing that I'm calling indifference curves. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to compare our preferences for two goods, the same two goods that we face that cold hard constraint for. These are CDs and pizza. And I want you to consider, this is an abstract thing, this is very hard to really think about, but just consider the possibility that there could be some combinations of a good that you could be using where you would be content to give up some of something for the other thing as if it didn't matter. These are called indifference curves because you would be indifferent anywhere along these curves in one position relative to another position. And here, maybe I can get to why that might be so. Let's suppose that you were able to consume here. That's a whole lot of pizza and not a lot of music. Well, if you had a lot of pizza, think about where you are on your utility function, that's what we just drew, for pizza. You have a whole lot of pizza. But you don't have very much to listen to. So you would be willing to give up quite a bit of pizza to have a little bit more to listen to and be fine with that. It's not just that you would prefer it, that's something different, but just you would be okay with, give up some pizza for some more CDs. I have so much pizza already. So what we're saying is then you would be indifferent along here. You'd be okay to give up a large chunk of pizza, whole pizza or whatever, I don't know how we're measuring pizza for a single person, but a lot of pizza for just a little bit of music because you don't have very much music, and the next unit of music would bring you a great deal of satisfaction relative to the last unit of the pizza that you're eating because you're already out there in those diminishing marginal utility for pizza. On the other side of things, if you had a whole bunch to listen to but not a lot of pizza to eat, you'd probably be like, yeah, I'd be fine with giving up some music to get some more pizza. And so you would have that kind of a trade-off in your preferences that you would be indifferent to accepting. And you connect these and you have one indifference curve. Now, the weird thing about being indifferent, it's hard to imagine just being indifferent until you think about the possibility of having more than one indifference curve, and then it becomes clearer. Another indifference curve might be right here, and they should be parallel. And now the idea of indifference can become a little bit clearer because we can see something that is really, truly preferred. You see, this indifference curve out here, I sub 2 compared to I sub 1, is more of either or both of those things. This one is preferred to this one. You can be indifferent between the numbers of pizzas or CDs anywhere along here, and you could be indifferent between them anywhere along here. But being out here is more than being in here. So I sub 2 is preferred to I sub 1, but on I sub 2, you're like, whatever. And so I sub not is inferior to I sub 1. I sub 2 is vastly superior to I sub not here, and so forth. Higher indifference curves, and by higher we mean farther from the origin, are preferred to indifference curves closer to the origin because they represent more of both goods. Now, where you are consuming on these, we don't know yet. That's what we need the budget constraint for. We're just speaking of hypothetical quantities that you might be able to consume. So more is better than less, and these represent more being farther out here. Along a curve is just means being indifferent between another quantity along a curve. And since I haven't brought the budget constraint in here, I'm going to stop this piece very short and short segment, and then I'll come back with another piece where, as I'm sure you can guess, we're going to put these together.